Bonjour, bonsoir, and bienvenue. It is time for PSGL F1 Round 4. France, the second Paul Ricard, awaits us, and we are very much looking forward to that. It is a track that a lot of drivers do not necessarily enjoy, but it should hopefully make for a better race than last week. Speaking of last week, let's quickly go into who won this one. It was, of course, VSR Jordan who won the race in Belgium in Spa. The full race results right here. It was Timon who got second, so 1-2 for VSR. Juiced in third, who has since joined VSR, so it was in fact a VSR 1-2-3. We just didn't know about it. Sparks fourth, Aero 5th, Casper 6th, Gamer 7, Suso 8, Vaster Racer 9, and Dario P10. Final point for the Ferrari. And of course, your driver of the day was as well VSR Jordan. He got the clean sweep right there. In the driver's standings, we still have Juice leading the championship, 32 points, only 3 ahead of Sparks, and then 12 ahead of both Gamer and Timon. Wouters and Jordan still close, waiting in the shadows, and then quite a big gap considering our point system. 10 points there for Blizzard and Casper. You see the standings right there. For the team championship, Williams have overtaken Haas, but I mean, look how close it is, 50-49. 1 point difference between the two teams. And I think this is going to be interesting between those two. This is the battle we have to look out for. And with the race info now on your screen, we see it as a 5.8 kilometer long track. The first Grand Prix held was in 1971. So it is a track with, in fact, a bit of history. You may think, this new track in F1. No, it is a historic track. Has gone through quite a few changes. But certainly been a part of F1 for a long time. 27 laps are going to be held around here tonight. 15 corners and a 23-second pit stop loss, which can be attributed mostly to the fact that the pit lane is actually run at 60 kilometers an hour, the lower pit lane speed instead of the usual 80, so 37 miles an hour instead of the usual 50. And with that, I'm going to bring in my co-commentator and the voice of PSGL, of course. It is the one, the only, Owen Wyatt. Owen, how are you doing tonight?
Je ne parle pas français, so I'll just stick to English if you don't mind. I'm not as fancy as you. But hello anyway. Welcome on everybody. And, well, it's very wet here, isn't it? And that's going to be one to hopefully shake this race up. Fantastic conditions. In quali anyway. We don't know about the race yet, but yes, a few invalidations.
Owen, you're
already.
going too quickly. You're going too quickly. We have something to announce in case you forgot.
No, I'm just excited because it's raining.
Yeah, but the viewers don't see that yet. Now they know.
Well, I'm just hyping them up.
But we have something else to announce,
stuff,
obviously. We announced it last week already. There's going to be a new division on the PC platform here at PSGL. And not just that, we now have 10 of the drivers that are already confirmed. And let me tell you, this is about the most star-studded league you will ever see. The first name is already gonna blow you away because it is none other than the current F1 Esports Pro Series Drivers World Champion Jarno Opmeer, who is going to be taking part in PCGL, or PSGL PC, we should say. It used to be sort of under the code name PCGL, but of course, the PSGL PC platform. And, I mean, Owen, just who do you want to present next? Because, I mean, there's so many good names there.
Well, I just want to say, just so we can have our moments here, that obviously those of you who were here in Season 25, they saw how good Jarno was. He was so good, he dipped out with 2 races to go because he'd already won the title. So we know how good he is. And as you said, there's lots of good names here. Another name on here, which we've done some practice with speaking, at least I have, because I don't know how to say them. Philip Preschneider. I hope I've said that correctly. A lot of great pros here. I mean, there's so many different names to go through here.
Yeah, I mean,
it's incredible.
The only 2-time drivers champion is on there as well. Is Brendan Lee. I mean, you know, you have 3 champions right now. The only one who's missing, maybe he's going to join, maybe he's watching and he wants to join, wants to get in on the fun, would be David Tanidze. We can't confirm him yet, but maybe, knowing that both Jarno and Brendan are going to participate. And I mean, let me just quickly go through the names. You said Philip Reschneider already. Floris Vyers is going to be in it. Barry Boroman is going to be in there. Matthias Collegon, Simon Weigang, Fabrizio Donoso, Alvaro Caraton, Tino Naukarinen. I mean, this is 10 Pro Series drivers from F1 Esports, all going to be racing here in the PSGL PC League. It's just absolutely remarkable, and I'm very much looking forward to that. And you can't forget the 2 commentators that are going to be there for it. Honestly, I wish I could commentate on the PC, and I'm pretty sure you feel the same looking at that lineup. But there's going to be 2 really good commentators there in George Morgan and Jack Canan. I gotta say, I'm very much looking forward to hearing those 2 deliver the action with those 10 already on the grid. And I think with that, we can now jump in and actually watch what is going on. We're already 5.5 minutes into qualifying. We already have the first lap times here from 12 drivers. Blizzard currently the fastest. If we quickly move up there we go. 42.1. You see the tires. Oh, and it is your favorite color, but it's not exactly the super hard tire. But yeah, that's Juice now, as I said, in VSR. I was almost going to say ownership, but no, being a part of VSR now, sets the fastest lap time, 141.7. Right behind him is Aero with a 41.8. Sparks now third, 42.0. So a lot of moving going on. And you see the drivers are really putting in a couple laps in a row.
Yeah, they tend to do this quite a lot on the ring, don't they? To help get their bearings and to get some grip into the tires, some heat into the tires, get those lap times down. I mean, you can see as a few more across the line, but just falling down to 5th, but then he will come across the line for his second full attempt, and we'll see how he gets on. So they expect the time to keep going down throughout the session. The finish line is a lot further down the straight than you may imagine, actually. It always seems to catch some people out. Because it has changed. I think every game so far it's been on, it's changed. But I think this year's the one where it's furthest down. And you can see with Blizzard, he's all over the show. And you know, a big issue here as well, if you're out on board, for those early laps, this track, you know, it blends in actually quite well, the track to the runoff. I mean, you can barely tell what's track and what isn't. And obviously there's no assist, so there's no line. So that might actually take a while to get used to as well.
Yeah, I mean, these are treacherous conditions as well, so that just makes it all the harder as we are riding on board here with Blizzard right now to go down the long straight. It could even be longer, but there is a chicane in the middle of it, which is intended to slow the drivers down and does just that. But that is, well, really tricky. You are so slow here. You see he's going 3rd, 4th, short shifting on the exit of that chicane. In the dry, you would usually go 3rd gear all the way on the exit, maybe even 2nd because it's so slow there. But here, in these conditions, even though you're slow, you're still going 3rd and then quickly to 4th to reduce the wheel spin. He runs really wide here through turn 11. My goodness, you can take multiple lines through there, but that was playing with fire right there, as we now have all drivers setting at least 1 lap time. So that is certainly good to see. No driver out yet either, as Dario is up in P1, 41.3. You see how it is getting quicker. Every lap is getting faster than the previous one. And you talk about, you know, they're getting the bearing, they're getting an idea as to how the track is evolving, how the track's behaving. But I gotta think it also has to do with the tires, doesn't it? The tires can go a couple of laps and they need to heat up and they need to get better.
Yeah, it's a slow process, really. Some people might do 1 lap and give it up, but trust me, it is worth staying out there. Something I've had to see for a few people is that actually their ERS levels running quite low. For instance, Juice has just gone purple in the middle section, but he's low on the ERS. So that's something I've got to think about as well. So expect really for them to spend sort of the first sort of 13, 14 minutes on this one set, maybe, and then pit, or pit's just halfway through. Someone like Juice will have to do another in lap if he doesn't go fast as here. He does. So that'll be him into the pits. So you might only get 1 or 2 more laps at the end. So it is a balancing act. Do you take your laps at the start or do you take them at the end? Because that'll be a mad dash at the end, and they might still manage to underestimate the tires because it's not going to go intermediate, is it? Unless it really starts to stop raining. No, I'd be interested to see if that happens. But yeah, Juiced is the pace setter at the minute on 4 laps done. So that's sort of telling you there just how long it's taking to get these times right down.
Yeah, I don't see it going to intermediate conditions anytime soon either. It's going to be interesting what it's going to be for the race, really. I mean, it could start on dry tires for all we know. At which point, this is really, really difficult to predict who's going to do well. But the one thing that sort of gives me the idea that maybe it's not going to be dry for the race is that none of the drivers have lost it in any way. They're all, none of them seem to be struggling with the conditions. And, of course, they are very, very good drivers. They're the best that we have on the PS4. Let's not forget that. But you got to remember, if the race happens in the dry, surely they're all going to have dry setups in the wet. And that's much harder to control. Oh, as there goes someone almost spinning. I think that may have been a spin. No, it wasn't. That was one of the Williams. It wasn't Juice, so it must have been Jordan. No, Juice was slow. No. I saw someone in the background, in the foreground, really, sliding, and that must have been Jordan coming through the right-hander at the end of the long straight, just completely sliding off track.
A few people did that. I think he was letting Gamer through as well because he needed the same thing. So they're pushing the limits there. It's always been a problem, that corner in the wet, because it does just catch you out, especially if you're using any ERS through there. Some people might be tempted just to hit the overtake button just for a split second, and that can send you around. Probably the most difficult corner on this track when it is wet. So yeah, I'm surprised no one's actually gone for a full spin round there yet. As Ferrari, well, he's drifting around the last 2 corners. He's trying to get an outlap down. He might well be out to the end of the session, you see, with those fresh tires. That's might a few others. And yeah, interesting. Few going out on older tires, I think. It says Sparks is out there on 3-lap old tires. I don't know if he's meant to be doing that or not. But yeah,
Christmas
that could be
as
a tactic as well. That could be a tactic as well. Go out on older tires that are already rubbered in. That would tell me that they're not expecting a wet race.
Yeah, certainly.
Maybe they are. Maybe they are. I never know. Maybe they're testing on the tires to go for. But yeah, don't really know how to predict this one. It's hard to predict the order in a dry session, let alone a wet session. It's a lottery in essence. In fairness, be interesting to see how they all get on.
Yeah, I mean, you can't really predict anything. I'm looking at Gamer right now, and he had a pretty good first sector. Second sector, not so much. He's up by a 10th on his own time. That would move him right now up to sort of P11, P12. But he's already in P13, so it wouldn't be a massive gain. As, let's see, comes through the final couple of corners, and he does abort his lap, goes into the pit lane with 5 minutes and 20 seconds left. He's going to have time for about 2 more laps. Maybe, no, it's not going to be 3. It's definitely going to be 2 at most. So, not really the best situation for him. Let's look at
we've got Timon out there. I think he might be the first one out there on new tires, and he's
I was gonna look at Matthijs, formerly known as Onyx, the runner-up from last season, but he invalidated, and so I think we're gonna go to Timon instead, as Matthijs just started a new lap, and Timon just went purple in the middle sector.
Yep. So let's see if we can hold it through the last sector. You can see the understeer.
Yeah.
A few drivers have had that issue through there, and a bit of sliding as well as he goes down the gears. It really is a nightmare of a corner. And yeah, taking the karting line. A few of them are going for that outside karting line. Don't know if there's more grip out there or not. It's hard to tell really if they're doing it on purpose or not, because it is probably just a natural understeer problem. But Lee Finlay there, look at that. He wants to go on intermediates. He's going to make his comeback in style potentially. Hopefully he does the business there. That'd be fantastic, wouldn't it?
That is risky. I'm not sure about that call, but Timon in P3, really good final sector, needs to be said. The first 2 sectors, he didn't gain that much. He was about 2.5 tenths up, but then the last one, he gained another 6 on his own previous time, and that puts him right behind Juiced and Dario in P3.
He has, definitely. He's committed now to this intermediate. See, in a racing condition, he probably would favour the wets, wouldn't he? I mean, in qualifying situation, you can see already he's struggling, but you just never know with this track. I had the season 25 F3 race where people were about as indecisive as this, but that was going from interest to wets, where you'd stay on interest, not the other way around. That doesn't work the other way around most of the time. So that would be very interesting to see how Lee gets on. I mean, it might work. There's a bit of a line being rubbered in, you never know, but I'd be very surprised.
Yeah, he needs to let someone by here. That's McLaren, and Gamer was thinking about the intermediates. I don't know if you saw that there for a split second, Owen. I certainly caught it. Gamer was thinking about the intermediates for a second, just checking, hey, are they good? And he was like, nope, they're not. They're not. According to the game, the intermediates are not the right tire here. Let's see if Lee Finley can still do something with them. He's still on his outlap here. Whoa, is he sliding? My goodness, have you seen that? Oh.
All I can assume is that he's been looking at the tyre deltas in the pit lane.
Yeah.
And it's been going down and down and down. And he's just hoping that that crosses over just at the end of the session. He'll be going through his head thinking, if it keeps going down at this rate, say it's like a second, the delta, when he comes out of the pits, maybe he's thinking it'll be enough. That's the tactic some people use. We saw Blizzard try it a few seasons back in Austria when it was going from interest to dries, and it worked for him. Right at the last second.
He slides there though. Look at the understeer, much more than on the wets. He's really struggling. I don't know if this is the right call. I don't think he saw. In fact, I'm gonna challenge you on this. I don't think that he looked at the delta and the delta was actually going down. He may have looked at the delta and he was hoping possibly that it would go down, but I don't think it actually went down at all.
Yep, first one to the 40s. Yeah, I do wonder, maybe I must have looked at it.
Oh yeah, look for sure.
And thought, surely, if I just tried it. I mean, look, he's 16th. He's not going to go massively higher, I imagine. Maybe that's his thinking. He's not. Well,
yeah. He's 8/10 down in the first sector on his own time. I don't think it's going to work.
Well, you know, it's light rain now, Austin. That's light rain. That's properly.
That is light rain? It looks like more, but.
He might. You know what? This might well be just about the final lap. He's not using his ERS as well, by the looks of it. I hope he's not. Anyway, because he's got to think about it.
He is using. He's on 2. He's on hot lap. Hot lap mode. Yeah.
How's the middle sectors are getting? Oh, it's still slower, but it's all going to be about this last lap. It's going to be about this last lap.
He lost. He lost. Oh my goodness. He lost 8/10 in the first sector, 1.4 seconds in the second sector alone. That's not a cumulative. That's just the second sector.
He might well not be taking this at full speed yet. I'm sure he'll be thinking, just make sure I get across the line and start this final lap.
Yeah.
He might. This is working, Austin. I'm sure this is going to work at this rate. Look at the rain. It's getting so much lighter. That will be fascinating. But we've got a lot more laps going on at the moment. Because,
I don't think it's going to happen. Everyone's out on track now. Everyone and their grandma's out on track now. So, yeah, this is going to be interesting as he comes across the line with, what is this now? 10 seconds left. So he has another run. Look at the train behind him, though. This might hurt everyone behind him. That is Suso right behind in the McLaren. There's a Mercedes there. There's both Red Bulls. There's the Mercedes is Wouters, as Christmas just came across the line. He was too late. Let's look at who's the Williams there. Is that Jordan? No, that is Juice then. Juice comes across the line, does not improve. We get an AlphaTauri, I think that is Domi indeed. Can he improve? He's a 10th down. Final sector does not improve. I think we have Dario next. Again. No, Dario is purple indeed.
He is purple.
Matais P7, Ashbest P10. Casper into the pit lane will not be in the top 10.
Right, here's Finland's middle sector.
Who is that?
I'll keep you updated on that.
Oh, that is Dario, isn't it? No. Who is that red car now going across the... Oh, that was Ferrari.
Lee Finley's abandoned it. He's abandoned it. He made a mistake. So, well, even though the track was drying, not drying enough, unfortunately, for his interest. It's a nice idea, I guess. I really hoped it would work, but I guess it hasn't. Here comes Blizzard. He's trying to go up to the top.
P2. Wow. Here comes Timon.
We're expecting a P1 from him, and I haven't quite got it. How is timing going to do? Timing going to do?
Timer
He goes
P2.
P2.
That's not Sparks,
Next.
then it's Gamer P4. Here comes Sparks now. There is a McLaren as well. I think that was Recon. Stays P17, Sparks P10. Immediately pushed down by Aero, who's now in P9. And now we have the group that was behind the intermediate runner of Lee Findlay. Sousa does go up to P10. We have
even faster.
Yeah.
That might well be it.
And that's it. And Lee Findlay stays at P19. Dropped all the way down. Miss gamble, but it is Dario, the only driver with a 1 minute 40 who takes pole position. But once again, we always say this, and it's still true. Look at how close it is. The top 17 are within less than a second. In fact, less than 9/10 of a second.
Yeah, I've got to say, that's particularly impressive from Dario. He set 2 times in this session that would have been enough for pole position. Because before that, he was on a 40.9. So he's absolutely smashed it in this quality session. Now, does that mean he's on a bit of a drier setup or a bit of a wetter setup, I should say?
Probably a bit of a wetter setup. Maybe he compromised to get the pole position here. If he falls down the order in any way, then I think we understand what was going on there. If he keeps this pace up in the race and the race turns out to be dry, I think we know as well what's going on, is that he just loves this track. But Dario on pole position, time in second. The CRG guys here, Blizzard and Gamer 3 and 4, Domi 5, Christmas 6, Juice 7, Vaster Race 8, Aero 9, Suso 10, Sparks outside the top 10, P11, Matthijs 12, Wouters 13, Prinens 14, Ashbest 15, Casper all the way down in P16, losing the qualifying battle in the Renault as well. Jordan 17, Recon 18, Lee Findlay on his strategy failed attempt on the intermediates P19, and then Ferrari last place P20 on the grid.
Of course, there's no magical P11 anymore because everyone, assuming it's a dry start, which it will be, everyone will get free tire choice. So that should mean we can see people going for it a little bit more, because none of this strategy to mess about with. I want to see some racing today, people. Please? Pretty please?
Yeah, and speaking of the weather, I mean, this is about as good as it can look, isn't it? I mean,
yes.
I see a few clouds in the distance, but there's a lot of blue there, so I would consider this to be clear. So this is about as sunny as it gets. And yeah, so everyone's going to have free tire choice at the start. And just to bring you back once again to the race info here, these are the strategies we expect: soft to hard, pit window, or well, really hard to soft, because I think most drivers are going to go for the alternate strategy. So they're going to start on the harder tire, and then we're going to have soft or hard to soft, pit window around lap 19 or 21, or hard to medium, and the pit window would be around lap 15 to 16. I wonder if someone's going to try and go for the softs, which would, I think, turn into the alternate strategy now, considering that everyone gets a free tire choice.
Yeah, but how many times have we seen on league races someone go medium to soft here? I swear to God, I've seen it happen so many times where they said, it's no way, it's not possible, and then it's happened. I know it was more of an F1 2019 thing, but wonder if anyone will try that today. A lot of people on the hards, but there is Dario who's on the mediums. So we might well see at least one person try it. How many are going to try it?
I mean, look at Casper.
We've got four
at
people.
Yeah, look at Casper.
And then Casper, yes, on the softs.
We have 15 drivers on the hards, 4 on the mediums, and we have Casper, who is on the softs.
I'm a fan of this, Austin. I'm a big fan of this. We got a bit of strategy stuff going on at the back, which hopefully we see Casper out the field with us one, because we all know what we know he's a good enough driver to get up there on those softs. That will be some entertainment. And if Dario makes this somehow work from P1, I mean, like I say, it was the dominant strategy last year for people who weren't really expecting it. Will he manage to pull it off again on F1 2020? Because he's got 12 behind him, all on the hards.
Yeah, I mean, this is going to be difficult. He needs to make a gap and make it quickly. If you run with the mediums here at the start, you only get about half a second a lap on the hard tires. if both are in fresh condition, which obviously they are. So if he can pull that half a second in the first 2 laps and doesn't make too many mistakes, I think he has a good chance of pulling a gap that is going to be big enough. In fact, my own data says more like 6/10, but yeah, he can't afford any mistakes on the start, in the first couple of corners, really on the first 2 laps. Dario needs to get away from this pack and needs to get away quickly.
Yeah, it's worth pointing out undercut might also be quite useful around here. He would obviously be pitting first Dario, you would expect. Or maybe actually around the same time if he is thinking of going medium to soft. Maybe actually he will pit with the rest of them, but and I'd expect anyone, if they were to go undercut, it would be him. So yeah, he's certainly going to have to go. It's weird. It's aggressive but conservative at the same time. This will be very interesting to see how he pulls this one off as they all start to line up on the grid.
Yeah, this is going to be spicy, I think. I mean, we have all 3 tires on the grid. How often did we see that? And especially with Dario, the pole sitter, on a different tire than 3/4 of the grid. I mean, this is truly, truly interesting. And I think this should make for a much better race than we saw last week. So if you're missing this one, you're missing out.
So we've got a Ferrari on pole. We've got Ferrari at the very back as well. Let's see where they all end up at the end of lap 1 though. As we get the lights on, all 5 ahead of the drivers. And we are away in Paul Ricard. We should expect Dario to get a good start, and it looks like he has, but it is a decently long run. And if anyone wants to have a go on the turn 1, looks like we're all ghosted again. So it is a good opportunity. But the leaders all say the same. You can see a lot of side-by-side, probably a bit of people going through each other. They'll hopefully take advantage of that while they can. It's a shame that happens on these starts now, but at least it stops all the carnage, I guess, as we all head through that first sector. And all the orders have messed up for me, but oh, we have got a car in Narnia now. I'm not too sure who that is. It was an AlphaTauri. Might have been Lee Finlay. He
most likely
appears to fall to the back of the grid. But it looks like, thanks to the game's ghosting, we've had a clean start.
And Casper already gaining 5 positions right off the bat. And Wouter's losing 6. I mean, Casper...
Done. He's not happy about that one, friends. I do wonder how many of those were done through ghosting Casper, because he has so much extra traction. You can see it as Prinen's got past him, but he's now straight back alongside. And interesting, we see a few going side by side. We've got Sparks and Christmas, and I can say we've got Casper as well, and Prinen's. Dario was already 1.1 seconds clear in the lead, which is good for him. He's well out of DRS range already, and Christmas has gone quite wide. He's going to lose a few positions through that. He might fall way down, actually. That's going to be really difficult to recover from.
Look at Casper making moves over and over here. My goodness, he's already up 7 places on the first lap. He might make it 80 if he gets better acceleration than Sparks. Ferrari goes into the pit lane lap 1. That is probably for damage. I'd be surprised if that's an undercut. Same goes for Christmas and Lee Finlay. So those are the 3 drivers that were involved in some kind of accident and have gotten some damage. But my goodness, Casper from 16 to 9 on the first lap. This is outrageously good.
I remember Casper here, I think it was season 24, I want to say, had a fantastic race here. He absolutely stormed through the field at the end. It was highly entertaining. He loves this place, and I love commentating on this place. He just works. Casper on softs around France. What could be better? As he gets by Sparks. And since it's all against hard runners, he really should just glide through them. And I'm pretty sure, Austin, we've already seen more overtaken in these first 2 laps than we saw in the entirety of the race last week.
Yes, unfortunately, yes. Or maybe fortunately. Unfortunately for last week, but we're very happy for today, honestly, to see some overtaking, some action. And Casper is certainly delivering. So maybe he watched back last week's stream and he was like, yeah, I agree. Let's make this entertaining. He certainly is doing his part, I gotta say. And I was talking earlier, if you remember, about Dario and how he needs to pull a gap. Well, he has done just that. 1.5 seconds, the gap between Dario and Thyman. So no DRS for Thyman come lap 3, which is going to come very quickly here. So it really, really helps Dario right now to be away on the mediums. He can try to pull a gap and might turn this into a lights to flag victory. Here goes Casper on Aero. Aero's not fighting this. He knows what's happening there. that there's a car on the softs that is just so much quicker, and Casper just flies by, gets another position right there.
So, we've got to think about how long these softs are going to last then, because I'm sure he can push for all he's got, but they will hit a point eventually where they start to slow down. DRS will help him keep up, but I do wonder, he's only got sort of 3 or 4 more laps than most of this. He's also using all his ERS, so he sort of knows this as well. He's got very limited amount of time to get this done, but with that time, he's absolutely scything through the field. Here he's a side-by-side with Domi. You'd expect him to win that under braking, even though he's not really on the traditional overtaking line. A lot of people tend to go around the outside. You might see some of that later on in the race, but Casper up to 6th now.
Yeah, a lot of people go around the outside because it allows you to stay alongside and get the inside for the second part of the chicane. And then also get the inside if you can't make it happen before the next corner in Sector 3 then. You also get the inside for the next 2 corners after that. So lots of inside running there. So that's why, you know, the outside might be good. You can run a little bit deeper into the corner, a little bit faster, and then have the advantage later on.
So with Dario leading by 1.8 a second, 1.9 now, it's constantly going up. That means that Timon is the leader of this train, and that's good news for Casper because it means it's all hard runners he's got to overtake, which should be a little bit easier. He should have a good chance to save this ERS back up as well, and hopefully, you know, he'll be hoping to get to second. I don't really know if he chose those tires on purpose. It would surprise me if he did, to be brutally honest with you. But if it was a strategy call on purpose, he's certainly making it work. If it was an accident, he's certainly making it work regardless. So either way, he's got his eyes on P2. He's got to get it. He has to get it. No point sitting back now.
Yeah, I'm looking at Juice right now, looking behind. Casper's not getting much closer really right now, so he needs to do this under grip and sort of in the corner. On straight line speed, he's not going to be as powerful anymore, considering... Oh, maybe he's going to try it here. Yep, there you go. Uses it on the exit of the chicane here, where Juice probably wasn't expecting it, and Casper gets that one done as well. So really a bit of a surprise move here. You would expect it down the DRS straight. He's like, nah, let's not do that. Let's do it right after. And it works a treat. So he's up to P5. These are the most maniacal first 4 laps I've ever seen from one driver. Granted, he has the massive tire advantage and everything, but still, making 11 overtakes in 4 laps, I mean, it's just remarkable to watch.
So what Casper had done there on that last lap as he goes for gamer now is that he actually saved his ERS down the DRS straight, because he knew that out of the slower chicane he'd get much more traction, and that's where he decided to use the ERS. So while he hasn't got much left, he's using it very well and very tactically, and it's meaning he's able to get up the field nice and easily. I'm sure he'll get up in the DRS of Blizzard in a second. I should expect again that since he knows he's got the grip out of the chicane, he'll just save enough ERS to be able to use up towards Saint. So say if he does that one again, because Blizzard himself actually probably knows what's coming and he wants to get by time in pretty soon. He's all over at the back of him. He might fancy it because he's been saving his ERS a little bit, and he is now going to have a go for P2. Here he goes, nice and easy, no point defending that one for Timon. And you can see as well, Casper is just saving the ERS up.
Yeah, and these two battling now, Blizzard and Timon. Oh, as Casper gets a little bit of a slide there, we just got that on board, my goodness. This is going to help Casper more, because if they're battling, if they're slowing each other down now, well, guess who's right there to pick up the scraps from that battle? It's Casper on the soft tires. It needs to be said though, those soft tires obviously wear out quite quickly, so you got to remember the advantage that Casper has over Timon and over Blizzard shrinks with not just every single lap, but really every single corner. So he needs to make these moves and make them quickly. But if there's one thing that we can expect from him, it's that he does just that. We saw that in the first 5 laps now.
Gotta say, what those two fighting, Timon and Blizzard, they're being very clever, because when they're changing positions, they've got so much ERS that they can use that, you know, willingly, and they know that they can just swap positions on the straight, and that might have bought them an extra lap.
A flag, that is Lee Finlay.
As Lee Finlay goes off on his return. Bit of a shame in that one. But like I say, what they did in that last lap, I just meant Casper couldn't get very close. It buys them a lap, because they know Dario's, he's gone. He's 3.2 seconds clear. But now it'll be time for Casper to take a practice because now time he can't get by Blizzard this lap, so it might have bought them 1 lap. I'm sure Casper will drive on this lap though, surely. Here we go. He's gone again, Lee Finlay. That's a disaster class at the moment.
Yeah.
He's gonna have to go around for a lap of pain, and I'm sure he doesn't want to be here much anymore. He's gonna get laps, so he's gonna be pits. So uncomfortable position for him to be in because it is such a slow pit lane, that one. But yeah, surprisingly, nothing actually happening between that top 3. Instead, we've got 2 Red Bulls side by side. Prinens, the second highest runner on the mediums, quite some distance behind leader on mediums, but still making some ground up and into the top 10 now. He's going to try and get into this train of hard runners now as well.
Yeah, but thinking about this, of the 3 medium runners who haven't pitted yet, Dario, Prinens, and Ashbest, surely Dario can play it safe and go medium to hard. He's got the gap. You know, he's going to be able to defend. But Prinens and Ashbest, they have to risk it, don't they? They have to go medium to soft, really, if they want to have any opportunity of getting some points out of this.
Well, this is it. They're all here thinking about the end game, isn't it? A lot of them thinking about what they're going to do. But yeah, these hard tires. I tell you what, this me getting a bit more confident, I think, seeing how bad these hard tires are. Because seeing Dario pulling away, he might well make his work just because of how much quicker he is now. You know, he can sort of back it off a little bit and just nurse the tires to the pit stop. And I'm sure the others on mediums will be thinking, okay, we can probably do this as well. These hard tires are not very good at all, so I'm not going to want to go anywhere near them. They're on the mediums. So yeah, soft is going to be their only option at this point, and I am fascinated to see how it's going to work for them.
Yeah, meanwhile, let's look at Casper again. He's going to try and maybe get a move on time and done, but it seems like his advantage has fully run out. Blizzard, meanwhile, has pulled a massive gap now, over a second of time, and so Timon out of DRS. That should make him vulnerable for Casper, but so far we're not seeing much of that.
Casper's going as well, isn't it? His tires are starting to fall a bit off.
Yeah.
We did stay at about 3 to 4 laps left in the tires, and those have definitely gone now. He's going to be thinking about the drivers behind because that has created a train. That train actually, well, say it's created a train. It never really stopped that train, and it's now going to come back to bite Casper a little bit. Blizzard's flying along, by the way. He's used all of his ERS available on that last lap, and he's he's about to the same level that Dario is, and he's closed to bite half a second doing it. So yeah, he's definitely got himself out of the DRS range of timing now.
Yeah, just about though.
Stay there. Let's see if he can stay there.
Yeah, we see the gap now.
Well.
We see the gap between Blizzard and Timon now, just under 1 second again. The detection point comes up right here, and it is over a second, 1.068. So that actually works in Blizzard's favor and in Casper's favor as well, because that means Timon is going to be a bit more vulnerable. But yeah, Casper's too far away to make a move on the Alfa Romeo driver right now. So maybe here out of the chicane, is he going to use some overtake? Yes, he is, but only a little bit.
Yeah, they're struggling a bit now, aren't they, in this train? We've got Matthijs trying to go around the outside. Hit the same corner on his hards against the driver on the medians of Prinens. So that means Matthijs had to have got by Bastrich or someone. We mustn't have seen that one.
Down the inside there, look at that.
Bit of contact, bit of wheel
more contact.
3 or 4 times.
Yeah.
And Matthijs is going to try and go for the undercut there on the exit. And that one might well work out.
Oh, they touch again.
But look at that, he's hit 4 or 5 times again. And we're side by side in the last corner. And I think Prinens is going to dive him. That's maybe not the best idea because he's going to have a horrendous exit. He's going to have his teammate all over him as well. He's right in the DRS toe. Ashbest cannot quite get involved. The fast racer's effectively boxed himself in. Luckily, he's got so much overspeed that he should be clear of his teammate, and he is. And that's a disastrous main straight for Prinens.
Oh yeah, 2 positions on one straight. And all set up by this one dive into the final corner. I mean, obviously, there was a lot of... I was almost going to say a word I shouldn't probably say on stream, but, you know, there was a lot of prequel to this. But ultimately, it led to the dive into the final corner, and Prinens was absolutely having no speed out of the final corner, losing 2 positions. And now, Gamer overtaking Casper. I think it's time now for the soft tires to just go off and for Casper to pit.
Yeah, well, Depends if it's too early for him, but it is certainly starting to go. Dario's again lost about half a second on that last lap. Like I say, he can nurse the tires a bit since he's got that gap, and that might just be part of his game plan, just to make sure that he can squeeze an extra lap or two out of them if he needs it. Because he won't be thinking about the pit stop, I don't think, just yet. Casper, it will be his main sort of point of interest, because he'll see Casper's name at least on the board for a little bit to see how far these softs are going, and he'll see already that after 8 laps are starting to go, and that is actually into the pit lane already. So will it be mediums? Is he confident he can get mediums to the end from here?
I think it's going to be the hards. I would be very surprised to see the mediums go on here, but we're going to have a look at it. We're going to see what is happening, but I think it's going to be the hards, and indeed the hards are ready for him. The hards go on, and Casper's going to go to the end on these hard compound tires. His hope now is, I'm pretty sure that there's not going to be a safety car, as Suso and Recon both get themselves 3-second time penalties, and he is released now in P17 behind the whole field by 15 seconds, but on much fresher tires by 9 laps. So he should be the fastest man on the track right now, if only for a couple of laps until the medium runners pit. But certainly this should help his basically massive undercut right now, and considering that he pitted from P5, he should jump a couple drivers, definitely Gamer and Timon and Blizzard, maybe even Dario, because Dario is losing time as well now. Remember, the gap was over 3 seconds, it's under 2 now, so both Blizzard and Timon are catching him.
And Timon looking the fastest of the 3. Mind you, Blizzard, we know Blizzard's pedigree around here. He likes this place. So I don't know if you'd have him as your favourite to win at the moment, but certainly, as long as he can hold Timon back.
Dario in the pits.
So
responding?
He's not going for something.
He's going for hards for sure. But as I said,
the pit lane thought, right, okay, that's not going to work. I'm pitting.
I think Prinens is staying out, the only one on the mediums to stay out. Ashbest follows in as well, so I reckon, Dario is on the hards already, and Ashbest is going to follow on to the hards. Prinens is the only one who might try to make the medium to soft work. And we've seen, if we remember, he has gained 3 positions now, but that's from the 3 drivers who pitted, Dario, Casper, and Ash. Apart from that, he hasn't really gained many positions in this race. So it might be that he's just preserving the tires. That could very well be the case. That he's trying to make sure that they go to around. But then again, you have to take him so long. You have to take him at least 16 laps. And then have 11 on the softs. I think that's probably the most likely scenario if you do run medium to soft. So I just don't see it happening. But we'll see if Prinens is ballsy enough, let's say, to try this strategy at the very least.
It doesn't look very good though, does it? I mean, he's been overtaken how many times? 3 or 4 times in the last 2 laps. It's grim, sadly. Because Jordan pulled a second on him, didn't he? So, he only passed him a lap ago. I think Prinens has to pit now, because it's not working anymore.
Well, is he? That is the question.
Yeah.
He is, yeah. Okay, so that answers that question. None of the drivers who started on the mediums will go for the medium to soft strategy. We will see the hard tires on every car at least once, I think. And yep, there he goes onto the hard compound tire and back out again. And let's now look at the leaders on track. Blizzard and Timon 1-2 right now. Let's go aboard with Timon here for the DRS straight. See what he is doing. Is he going to use some overtake mode? Not really, no. DRS is open. How much does he gain? From about 7/10 to, well, make it about 4. So you gain about 3/10 here on the straight from DRS. So that's about as close as you have to be without using overtake. Obviously, with overtake, that would help a bit more. But, yeah, so you need to be rather close here, really. The DRS straight, as long as it seems, isn't actually that long.
Yeah, it's enough, though, you'd hope. But we've said that many times, actually, haven't we? And it never really seems to materialise. But,
you'd think the Camel straight is long enough, but even that turned out to not be the case. Prinens, meanwhile, with the 30-second time penalty, that certainly won't help his efforts in this race. But yeah, Blizzard, Timon, Gamer, Juice, Domi, Aero, Sparks, Matthijs, Vassaracer, Jordan, the top 10 right now. However, Dario, Casper, Ashbest, and Prinens have already pitted and are on undercuts right now. They will not pit again. And if we look at the gap between Blizzard and Dario is the net leader right now by about 3 seconds.
Well,
and Casper may have jumped all of them.
Casper's been steadily catching Dario, actually. So,
yeah.
I mean, Casper, if he keeps catching this rate, it's not a massively quick rate, but it's enough that potentially by the end he will be in this fight for the win. And again, we know what he's like around here, but we also know what Blizzard's like around here. I do still wonder if Blizzard might actually have a pretty easy win as long as he can keep timing behind, because he will be much quicker. I mean, remember, this will be softs versus hards at the end, and we saw how easily Casper got through the field. At least I'll assume for now it's softs. I'd be very surprised if it was mediums at this point, because they would have already pitted, or at least be already thinking about it. But yeah, anyway,
no,
it will
it's
be
too
a
early.
difficult one.
It's too early. I think if you want to pit for mediums, you would pit around lap 15, maybe 16. It's a bit too early for the mediums yet.
Well, either way, I don't think it's going to happen. Or at least it's not going to be all... I don't think we're going to see all of them pit for the sauce, or all of them pit for the mediums. I don't know. It'll be all one tire, not buried tires. Okay, I'm wrong. I'm wrong. He's in the pits on this lap, Blizzard.
Wow.
So
yeah, that's definitely the mediums.
So are we going to see a split then? Is it...
All the CRG drives apart from Gamer coming in right now. Wow.
I'm so confused.
And Wouters and Suso follow in as well.
No one is... Okay, no one's going to go for the sauce from the ones pitting, obviously. But that
even I'm surprised.
Blizzard's been really held there by 2 cars.
Yeah.
That's going to cost him the lead of the race.
Yeah, there goes Dario already. And there goes Casper in net P2. Look at that.
That's disastrous.
By a long shot as well.
So that tells me that no, we're not going on the sauce, or at least some of them aren't going on the softs.
Yeah.
Maybe some might still go on them. I was fully expecting all of them to go on them. But just as I start saying that, yeah, of course they'll then go on to the mediums just to spite me, won't they? We'll see what the pace is like on them.
I don't think they're listening to you. I don't think they're listening to you. I think for the CNG guys, I think it's they maybe data mined a little bit, and maybe or maybe they just did a lot of practice. Probably that, and they looked at how the tire's working.
Contact. He spins, juiced. Well, actually, it's not a spin. It's a big drift. Lucky not to spin, but he's lost a few positions anyway. And well, that's not very useful when you're trying to think about what tire you're going to go on to. If you're going to think about sauce, you want those to last as long as possible. And a big drift isn't going to help.
Timon comes in, Gamer comes in, Domi stays out, Aero comes in, Juice comes in, Boss Racer. Yep, this is all on the mediums. Domi and Jordan, though.
If there's a few here, there's a few that might go on to the sauce. There's still 2 of them. 2 of them. Come on, lads.
Maybe, just maybe.
5 more laps on these and you'll get the sauce to the end, no problem.
I think you can take the soft a bit longer. I think if they pit lap 17, the softs might make it for 10. I'm pretty sure that they could take about 10 laps at the end of the race. They can't take 10 at the start, granted. Although Casper did take him for 9. But I think at the end of the race, they can definitely take around 10 laps. But yeah, Recon's out.
In the pits.
That's in the pit lane indeed. But let's look at Timon right now. He's catching up. He's catching up to Casper. And that might be the battle for P2.
Well, yeah, you see, we were sort of talking about Casper steadily catching Dario, but it's not really happening actually anymore. It's sort of been at that 2.6, 2.7 for a few laps now. And it does actually seem that it's going to be the medium runners who are going to go for it.
Yeah, and time it up to net P2, P4 on track. That was a very quick overtake right there. Got a lot of closing speed there on Casper. Used a lot of ERS as well. We have a yellow flag sector 1 that is for Recon's retired car coming back out of the pit lane. Thank you very much for that. But it should park in just a second. It's still trying to find a parking spot. And I think it may have found a parking spot. It has found a parking spot finally. Jordan, 5 seconds for speeding in the pit lane, so those two are probably going to go onto mediums as well. So you were right about all of them going onto the same tire. At least you got that one, but it's not the soft.
Yeah, it's the boring strategy, isn't it? Well.
I mean, it is a strategy.
It's a strategy, and it is probably the best strategy. As Blizzard, right round the outside of Casper, a bit of contact, but he's forced his way through. Bit of a slide on the exit. He wants this race win, Blizzard. He knows he's quick enough. It wasn't his fault he was blocked in the pit lane. He's going to take back his rightful position because they're both going to be catching Dario. And we're not going to mess about with slipstreams or anything silly like that today, as Prunenz has just had a yellow flag. Whatever he's done on the exit of turn 2 must have had a bit of a slide. But like I say, we're not going to mess about with this DRS train nonsense. We're going to catch Dario and we're going to have a fight. And it's going to be an entertaining fight. Here's Aero passing Sparks. No, he's not passing Sparks.
You're saying that like you want a fist fight with Dario right now. Owen, calm down.
I'm desperate, Austin. We didn't get this last week. Look at the amount of trains we've got. Oh, that's very late movement from Sparks. Aero's not going to appreciate that at all. And luckily he's got past, but he's giving him a little nudge. He's not happy at all. I don't know if you saw that one, Austin, but Sparks was so late. That was criminal, that. Aero's going to lose his head in a second if that happens one more time. Go on, nudge him off the track.
Oh, they both nudge each other off the track.
He is absolutely not happy. I'm not surprised. You see, I've got too much of a bad temper. I would have had Sparks in the air in a moment. As Matthijs goes by Gamer, the Hatters are going to get all the bumpy treatment, aren't they?
The thing is, I still remember from a different league that I'm obviously not going to name here, but when I commentated a race on here, and the same thing happened. I know, maybe it's just the track layout that just promotes bumpy racing and just very, very tough racing as Prunenz retires in the pit lane. I don't know. Is it the track layout? I have no idea, but every single time I get to commentate a race on F1 2020 or F1 2019 as it was at the time around France, there's just a lot of bumpy treatment. There's just a lot of wheel banging and, you know, going side by side through multiple corners. And usually it always happens in the third sector.
Yeah, it tends to be the way around here, but I think what Sparks did is a bit far, I gotta say, because he moved so late on. It was good reactions from Aero, but yeah, the bumpy stuff, it tends to happen, doesn't it, at the top of the hill. It's a very normal thing.
Here comes Domi.
We've seen it firsthand, haven't we? As Domi gets close to Aero, having passed Sparks. So there's plenty of stuff going on. Time is nearly into the DRS of Dario, and he's going to bring with him the train all the way to 12th place. So that will be interesting to see. Obviously, Casper may be feeling a little bit vulnerable at the moment as well. And there we go. Timon will, I believe, get the DRS. I think he was close enough,
nope.
wasn't he? No, not quite, but he is.
Not at the detection point. You got to remember the detection point is before the left-hander.
Yes. Last time it was a bit on the edge, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But it was, well,
but he will get it on the back straight in sector 2 now, because he's definitely close enough. And I think at this point, the days for Dario in the lead are numbered, or the laps really are numbered. As Timon with this very Dutch helmet design, I have to say. I mean, the Dutch flag and the rest is orange. I mean, that's about as Dutch as you can get on your helmet. So very, very much national pride here on the wheel as well.
How much are you going to fight this? How hard are you going to fight this? Are you going to get any defense? I think we are.
Timon goes for it here and has it. Yeah, Dario was not fighting this at all.
Man, I didn't think we'd get that. This is not the Dario I know. The Dario I know would be absolutely going for it. You've changed, man. Okay, in fairness, in the past it used to end with you in accidents. Maybe that's why you don't do it. But man, you're different. You're not what I used to see. Mind you, on these tires, I don't blame him in all fairness.
Oh, you're actually going to start a fist fight with him, aren't you?
No. In all fairness, on these tires, I don't blame him actually for not defending. It's not worth it, is it? It's a shame, isn't it? But he's had such a good race so far.
Oh, did you see that slide from Timon there? That was a wild one right there. Maybe it was just lag, but it looked like he was massively sliding there. Got no grip at all and held it somehow. So now the
Oh, there we go.
Ferrari-
That's more like it. That's more like it. Good stuff. Well, it was a bit
And they
dodgy,
touch
actually.
and round the outside. Blizzard, no, can't hold it there.
My Dario's back. Good stuff. You see, he's defending it now. Defend it when you can defend it, lad. Good stuff.
Maybe, just maybe, Dario is recommending himself to VSR. Let Simon by and is fighting the CRG guys. Maybe.
Yeah.
Look. We can start the rumor mill right now. But you know, maybe that's what's happening here. But no, Dario is at least putting up a little bit of a fight. Maybe, here's the thing, here's what I'm thinking, right? Dario is gonna try, because his tires are probably at this point around half a second slower, maybe 6 or 7 tenths. Maybe he's gonna try to stay with Timon through the DRS zones. He's gonna gain back some of that time, and then later on, lap 26, lap 27, when the tires are pretty much on the same pace, then Dario is gonna be like, you know what, now is the time to strike, and Dario is gonna try and take back that lead. I think that's his plan right now. He is close enough to get the DRS here on the main straight again, 8 tenths, so that works out. He's going to gain back around 3 or 4 tenths, I reckon. Does use a little bit of overtake out of the corner, but he might want to save some as well, and he's not. Now he is at 5%. But you see, he's gaining about 3 tenths on the main straight here. So it's a lot of time that he gains back from the DRS zones, and he can stay with Timon for the next couple of laps quite easily, it seems.
Yeah, it's good to see that. It's helping the train keep up as well. It was a lovely move from Gamer on the last lap on Casper, who might well just keep falling. See, he's actually struggling a bit more than Dario was, and that's only a 1 lap over time. Maybe just in general, he's just, yeah, he hasn't got the car in front like Timon, and hasn't got DRS, and it just means that he's not able to keep up as easily, maybe. As, well, Dommy's, I think, just got by 2 and 1, has he? I think
It seems so, yeah.
Yeah, he's just done 2-in-1 move. Lovely stuff. It's a shame I didn't see it, but I saw it on the timing screen, just lit up as Blizzard's on the inside of Dario into scene. That's contact. And they're binding wheels again. It's happening again. We love this binding wheel action.
Oh, there he
it's
goes.
so risky, but I think he's got the grip and he's got the traction.
Beautiful overtake.
And Blizzard up into P2, and now we're going to see Blizzard go for the race win. And like I say, we've seen in the past in PSGL, he's gone for it and he's won. In the past is Casper. Isn't going to win today. He's not outside the points after a potential half spin, maybe even a 360. And whatever's happened, he's lost a lot of positions. And well, he's back where he started, unfortunately. Not in the points, so well.
Arrow goes in the pit lane.
Started, but Arrow, well, interesting. Must have
damage.
I think I know Dommy. He passed to Arrow and Casper in one corner. Maybe that's why. Maybe there was a bit of a coming together that sort of led to that whole sequence of events. I'm not too sure, but anyway. That's last Arrow into the pits, and it's Casper out of the points.
Oh, there goes
Onyx!
Inside. My goodness! Sending it there wasn't going to work, but my goodness, that is a surprise move right there. Wow. Okay, I think they all watched last week's race and they were bored, so they came here to France, and they are just having none of it. They want every position they can get, and they want it now. Wow. That is a move I did not anticipate at all. And there is Dommy? Oh no, that's Lee Finlay. There you go. Yeah.
Spin lap, no.
Yeah. I mixed up the AlphaTauri's there.
Penalty?
Oh, really? Oh
just
my.
Just insult to injury. Like.
Yeah. He's already a lap down and the stewards are having none of it. You're getting off track. Well, you're getting 10 seconds. That is just painful.
Yeah, it's just a not.
If he doesn't pit anymore, he will get that removed, I think. Not that it matters, but
he's gonna go for it again, is he, Matt?
No, he thought about it, but
you see, the thing I think he might be thinking is he's not got much ERS, and I guess maybe he thinks he stands more of a chance going for it in the corners. But the issue is, if he goes and gets it wrong, then Gamer's on him, and then Dommy's on him, and then Sparks, and you can see how that all builds up.
I mean, they're all already on him, so it's not like they would be on him then. They would be in front of him then at that point.
Yeah, but they'd be
Gamer could easily make a move
if
yeah, Gamer could easily make a move if Onyx messes up.
And you know what? Timon is he's keeping this train nice and close together, which is good to see. He's not really pulling away too much. Obviously, he'd want to pull away, but in a racing context, that's good to see. Not too many penalties, none in the top 5, which is good to see as well. So certainly for those ones, they've really got the win right in front of them. So hopefully that means we get to see a bit of the fighting towards the end. You can see Matthijs getting closer again to Dario, who struggles with pace and for grip. As Valtters gets by Casper, and that is down to P12 again for Casper. Shame that for him, really, isn't it? It was so good in the start.
Yeah,
he must have been on those softs by accident.
He shot up like a meteor, and now he's coming down like one. It's really just heartbreaking to see, I have to say, after the entertainment he gave us in the first about 5 or 6 laps, to see him fall down the order like this. But to be fair, it doesn't make sense because his strategy was always...
Oh my goodness! Matthijs, that's
just... they touch! And
yeah, I mean...
No damage?
No visual damage, no.
How?
I think that's all come off Matthijs having the biggest slide in the Norfolk Corner.
I think it's Gamer
trying
now.
to make it an overtake.
Dario! Oh, Dario spinning
into the
Gamer!
side of Gamer!
Oh...
And that... Yeah, that's definitely the aggression I remember. Definitely.
Gamer, no front
safety
wing.
Car. Safety car. It's time for softs, I think, for maybe 1 or 2. Casper, get yourself in the pits, lad.
If no one pits, I think it's too late. You gotta remember, it's lap 23 now. By the time they get to the safety car, it's lap 24. The safety car doesn't go in within a lap usually, so lap 25. So they will have 2 laps of green flag running. If you pit now, you're losing. If you pit now, you're losing about 13 positions if you're timing. No, they're all going to stay out.
It doesn't stop some of you outside the points going for it.
Oh yeah, fair enough. Fair enough.
Arrow on them.
Arrow already is on them.
We just saw it quickly in 1 lap. Casper made 6 in 1 lap, remember? So that's sort of why I'm suggesting that. And yes, like I said,
Sousa, Ashbest, Casper, maybe Valtters, maybe Gamer, they might go for this, but the top 9, I don't see it happening.
Yes, I just gotta say, a few people were complaining about me earlier saying that I missed Dario's aggression. I did say also he ends up in accidents, so at least that Dario is still here, so don't complain about me, please. Also, I've enjoyed this race. I'm not saying it's boring. I never said it was boring. I'm enjoying this race. And yes, I know Monaco's next.
There you
Monaco
go. Look,
the best race.
Exactly what I predicted. Gamer comes in, Casper comes in, Ashbest not. Sousa is coming. So 3 of the bottom guys are coming in.
Idea. Don't try and steal my credit here. I also suggested this.
I just corrected you, and I was right.
No.
You suggested everyone was going to come in. That's not happened. The top 9 stayed out.
No. I corrected myself and said, well, actually, more like people outside the top 10 because I've got
fair enough. Gamer retires altogether. Why?
Why?
You just come into the pit lane, you get softs for 2 laps. You can easily get points out of this, and you retire. Unless he has some kind of technical issue with his wheel or anything, at which point I would understand that he pits and retires if he has issue with his rig or anything. But in any other case, I don't understand it.
But anyway, that is a surprise. Maybe he's just a bit upset because obviously he's the one that caused it. Well, he wasn't the one that caused it, he was the one that was hit into the safety car being caused. But no, like I say, very interesting scenario we got here. Obviously, everyone gets to see their ERS as well.
Oh, apparently Gamer had a drive-through penalty, and that's why he retired, because he would have had to serve the drive-through not under the safety car, and so he decided, you know what, before I serve that drive-through and just get P15 anyway. Fair enough. At that point, understandable, but we missed that drive-through penalty then. Apologies to everyone in chat. Thanks for keeping us updated. The unsung heroes of the stream, all of you guys in chat watching right now and helping us out here, as Lee Findlay is overtaking everyone and unlapping himself, and that is a drive-through penalty for him. I don't know why he even does that, but
just gotta catch a break, the poor guy.
I'm pretty sure he's gonna get a penalty for that. I'd be surprised if he gets away. I mean, I'm talking about a penalty by the stewards. Because I'm pretty sure that's not just against the rules here, but you know, pretty much against all the rules ever. Let's look at penalties. We have a drive-through for Casper and Lee Findlay.
Yes.
Lee Findlay just got one that we saw there. Casper also has a drive-through penalty. Everyone else, we see Jordan with a 5-second, and the other one's just corner cut penalties, 3 seconds or 6. But Jordan would have a 5-second penalty that he might get removed at the end of after the race. So all of these can be removed. That explains why Jordan didn't pit, by the way. Because he would have had to serve that 5-second penalty, and he would have lost some time there. But yeah, Casper, I don't know what he got the drive-through for. We are still under safety car, so let's quickly check.
I think it was it just ignoring the yellow flags? Because he did blast past the safety car. That might be what it made, but it came quite quickly, actually, didn't it?
Yeah, speeding under safety car for Gamer and Casper.
Right, okay, yeah, that does make sense.
Huh.
Right.
So they didn't stick to the delta on the lap that the safety car was waiting. Lap 23.
Lee Findlay was ignoring the yellow flag.
Yeah.
I thought that's normally a 5-second, but maybe because it passed the safety car itself.
Yeah. No, generally if you ignore yellow flags under safety car, anything really under safety car is a drive-through, apart from making contact, which is I think a 5-second.
Yeah, that's the one that's 5 seconds.
For both of them. As Lee Findlay now goes into the pit lane, and I think he's going to retire. Or is he going to try to serve the drive-through?
Well, he might want to hop into the stream, actually.
Safety car in this lap. Safety car in this lap. So he didn't break the safety car. That's the good news. There's a couple of people in the chat were worried about that, but the safety car is coming in. So Timon now the one who decides how fast the field is going. Once they come across the line, they're allowed to overtake, not a second before that. So if there are any moves before the finish line, and once Timon once he goes back to racing speed, he can't stop again. So those are the rules regarding safety car restarts. Once he hits full throttle and goes, he has to continue. He can't just brake. He doesn't do it yet. I think he's going. Yeah, he's going now. He's going now. Again, no overtaking until the line. But so we are in the final 2 laps. Scenario 7 for everyone. 2 to go.
But crucial to point out, there'll be no DRS since it is only the last 2. So it's all going to be down to that good old slipstream and field modes and ERS, which they should all be fine on, in fairness. Should really be quality pace if you were on the medium, so this will be interesting. People on the softs got to keep an eye on those as well. Aero being the lead driver on that, although he has got Suso all over him, so hopefully they don't trip each other up. They've got to be focusing on getting some points today. And I believe Casper's taking his drive through, so we'll just cruise it to the end line. But let's see Blizzard then. Like I say, he's good at this track. He knows he can win here. He's done it in the past. He'll be desperate to try and win it here, but there's only a certain amount you can do. He's going to just sort of have to try and bait time in here and use as much ERS as possible on this lap. And then Blizzard, he's done it a few times in this race already, where he uses all the ERS on the one lap. He did it earlier on when he started to try and catch Dario. So he has a good gauge of how much he can use. I'm not too sure if Timon's done that same thing yet. So that might be what separates Timon from Blizzard here.
Yeah, we're going on board with Blizzard here for this one, because he's getting really close. This is for the win of the race. Blizzard and Timon, where is the move going to happen? I mean, surely he's going to have to try somewhere. Look at how narrow he goes there, over the curb, everything, to make sure that he takes the shortest possible line. No time lost on track at all. Really maximizing everything. But there's no DRS either, because we only have 2 laps, so he has to make it happen without any of the overtaking help that F1 gives these drivers. So he has to make it happen naturally, which is so much more different and so much more difficult, really, than using the DRS. Maybe here, exit.
With the ERS, look at the ERS here. You can already see it. Timon.
Oh yeah, 20% difference.
Blizzard. That might be enough. Maybe not for this particular overtaking spot here, but maybe on the way up the hill, because he's going to use all this time now to close in. Because Timon, if he uses the ERS now, it's not going to give him the full party.
Look at how close he's coming here now.
Hasn't got enough, so it's all going to have to be, I'd imagine, on the exit here. And Timon,
oh yeah,
is it any good? I think it's not all right, but is it enough to get in there? Because I'm sure if Blizzard sees an opportunity, he's going to take it with both hands. He has to. He hasn't got any more opportunities left, and you can see him closing and closing and closing. But he's not out of ERS himself. Oh, he's so close. He's trying to find a gap. He's going to maybe try and bait Timon at some point. And Timon,
look, he goes defensive when he didn't have to.
He calls it. He doesn't have to do that, but Blizzard's going completely wide. He may not have been too happy with his line there. He's out of ERS now as well. If he uses any more, that'll pretty much instantly derate. And Timon, that's so defensive into the last hairpin. But he's shooting away.
It's a long run to the line.
Blizzard's derated, so that's going to leave Feynman winning the race. And Blizzard second with Matthijs third. Dario, I'd be very surprised if he gets fourth and keeps it. Sparks dominated. Valter's Arrow did get points in the end. Juiced and Jordan finishing off the top 10.
I mean, what a race that was. I mean, we had everything. We had a safety car. We had last lap battling. We had 5 retirements, drive-through penalties. I mean, there's nothing we didn't have in this race. I think this was the best race of the season so far. Certainly better than last week. Certainly the best race of the year so far. But to be fair, that's just 2 races, and the last one wasn't that good. But either way, a 22nd time penalty for Casper for an unserved drive-through. Interesting, that one. But yeah, this was an incredible race, and VSR Timon wins this one with Matthijs sort of under the radar. I think he had his best result of the season, finishing in P3. And when he started, P11, 12, something
12,
like that.
I think.
He was so far down the order, and he moves up like that. Remarkable race, and I think, we were thinking about this a little bit earlier, especially after last week's race. What happened to Onyx? What happened to Matthijs? I think the old Matthijs is back. He didn't win this one, but from P12 to P3, fantastic result right there. And there we have the full standings. Timon P1, Blizzard 2, Matthijs 3. Dario, for now, P4, but we'll see how that goes. Sparks 5 from P11, also really good move up the order. Domi 6, Valter 7, Aero 8, Juice 9. Jordan with the final point. Ashbest misses out by just over 0.2 of a second. That is just heartbreaking. Vaster Racer 12, Suso 13, Casper 14, Lee Findlay 15, Gamer 16, Ferrari. Well, Gamer, Ferrari, Printed, Christmas, and Recon retired. Lee Findlay, 39 seconds of penalties. I think that deserves some kind of special award, I'm pretty sure. Because I've never seen that before. I've never.
Awards.
Yeah, fastest lap.
The first one of the year.
See, the question is, Lee Findlay got the fastest lap. Will he be able to keep that after only getting it because he unlapped himself from the safety car illegally? Or will there be something happening with the fastest lap? But to be fair, if not for him, Suso would have had it with a 130.1 and it would still have been outside the points. So, at least we can say it doesn't change much anyway. No fastest lap point for anyone. But my goodness, what a race. And we get to do it all again 6 more times in the next 6 weeks. 6? No, sorry. 8 more times in the next 8 weeks. Sorry, messed up there. My math not on point. And let's quickly see if we have... Yeah, we have some drives in the waiting room. We're missing one. That would be Blizzard, I think. Is he going to join?
Oh, I did ask him to join.
Okay, we'll see. Maybe he sees it later, but let's bring the other 2 in. Sorry, guys, for interrupting there. Probably had a little bit of a chat in Dutch, huh?
Yeah.
Sorry. But we have now Matthijs and Timon with us here. 2 drivers, surprisingly, I just realized that they have a THIJ in their names, both of you. And both of them on the podium as well. So let's start. You know what? Let's go from the bottom to the top. Let's start with Onyx here. P3. If I remember correctly, that is your best result of the season so far. Is it safe? Is it safe to say that the old Onyx is finally back?
Yeah, hopefully. I struggled a bit at the beginning of the season with with everything, with the rhythm in the races. But yeah, hopefully this is a turning point and I go forward again.
Owen?
I think you had a close moment or two with Dario in that race, sort of led to the origins of where that safety car came from in the end. What are your thoughts on that? Because it got pretty aggressive, didn't it?
Yeah, aggressive, but that's what you should be in esports. I dived Dario in the last corner. Then he wanted to dive me back and punted Gamer off in turn 1. So yeah, I don't really see a problem. It's hard racing. That's what sim racing and esports racing is. So yeah, no problem for me.
Fair enough. Back to you now, Austin.
I mean, I don't really have much more for Onyx.
Right.
That's why I handed off to you.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Right, shall we move on to Blizzard then?
Yes. So Blizzard, second place. Really close battle there in the end. I mean, really a really close battle with Timon for the whole race. What was your strategy going into the last 2 laps regarding the ERS? Because we saw a difference between you and Timon and how you used your ERS. Yours was a bit more restrained in the first lap of those 2, and then more on the second one. Was that calculated from the beginning that you wanted to save a little bit on the first one and then really full beans on the final lap? Or was that sort of something that just happened? You didn't really think about it much?
Yeah, I wanted to save more than him because I knew my only chance would be him running out of ERS before me, since I wouldn't have the DRS like I would because of the safety car only allowing 2 laps of racing at the end. So I was hoping that he would run out fast enough that I would be able to get a chance, but I didn't get the chance.
All right, Owen?
I just want to ask about the pit stop. I wasn't sure, but your sort of strategy, it got a bit ruined because of the pit stop, didn't it? So was it 2 cars that blocked you in there, or did I see it wrong?
Yeah, I got held by Onyx and Wilson when I came in the pits.
Alright, okay. Was there ever any thought of going for softs, or was it just us in the commentary box? Because we were quite surprised no one went for them.
Yeah, there was never any thought of softs because softs would just die out too fast. They're only really good for 6 laps, so that's not enough laps for all the... Especially because the hards aren't... The mediums are good for their whole stint for me in that. So there wasn't really a point of waiting on the hards when they're so much slower than mediums and then going softs at the end when there wasn't a humongous advantage.
Right, okay. Austin, should we go to the winner then?
Yes. Timon, congratulations on the win.
Thank you.
How happy are you with this one? This was a big fight there in the last 2 laps. You held Blizzard behind you just about. The gap was lower than 2/10 at one point. So how happy are you to keep that one until the very end?
Yeah, I'm extremely happy. First win in PSGL, so that's extremely good. And it was a tough one, especially the last 2 laps. I was lucky that the safety car came out because I was pretty low on ERS, and I don't know what Blizzard was on. But yeah, I was on pretty low, and then the safety car came out, so I had 100%. In the last 2 laps, I was sweating so much to keep him behind. And yeah, I deployed my ERS at the good moment, so yeah, overall really happy.
All right, Owen?
I think that win puts you right up into the championship fight then, so I want to ask sort of what your thoughts are on the next race in Monaco, because I know it's a track that a lot of people might not be looking forward to. So what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, racing is not that much fun around Monaco, but I like the qualifying. I practiced there a lot for TRS-F1, and yeah, it's a tough track to nail it, especially in the real quali, because the walls are so close and you can easily get damage. But yeah, it's not that I'm looking forward to it, but it's not that I'm saying we should have put some other track instead of Monaco.
Right, then that's all I've got. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks once again to all three. I know Blizzard has already left, but maybe he's watching the
Yes.
stream right now. Thank you very much for joining for the post-race interview.
Thank you.
All right, moved them out. And yeah, let's look at the calendar. And we see, yes, indeed, the next track, it is the one, the only. It's not far away from Paul Ricard. It is Monaco. We're going to stay a little bit longer here in sort of Western Europe and going to go a little bit further towards the south. It's going to be certainly interesting. I think the one thing you won't want to miss is the qualifying of Monaco. The race, you know, things always happen, but overtakes aren't one of them. Safety cars, damage, you know, that sort of stuff. But really, overtakes are going to be few and far between. But still, qualifying, we will be, I think we're going to make it so that we're on the air a bit earlier. So we start the sort of pre-race show where we talk about race results, driver standings, driver of the day, race info 5 minutes earlier. So that we will be in time for the qualifying and you will get the full 18 minutes of qualifying to watch. And with that, we will see you next week. That is January 18th for the Monaco Grand Prix PSGL Season 27. Fully underway, and we are looking forward to the next one. See you, and goodbye.
Au revoir.
Oh!